All right, let's go ahead.
Oh,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right. So here we go. We have in the north, we have Team Pinky and the Brain, Mealsolutions in the teal. We have Tristan in the yellow. And in the same colors as last time, we have TAR, Tar Family Friendly, in the white, and Tar Therapist, aka BTU Jorne from or Natas from one of the. Oh shoot! I thought I set you to hold fire. There we go. From OTA days. You can see wind first for both of them down there. There's a lot of talk kind of on this map, and by say a lot, I mean just a little bit of buzz about whether or not it's good to walk 3 mexes, 4 mexes, 2 mexes when you start this map. Because this little 4th mex is really nice because it's a double 2.3. So
right. Yeah, these doubles. Yeah.
you want to start getting them as soon as you can. It looks like both Jorn and Knob are doing it. You can see it looks like Mr. Family Friendly here. He's dropping a solar because they're trying not to excess. They're just throwing down that metal in the form
Yeah,
of a solar.
this seems like a very, very greedy start by well, I mean, I guess both teams are sort of
Both
being
teams are
greedy
doing it.
because
Yep.
yeah, Meal Solutions doing it too. So
To get
uh,
punished by this, because this thing is for, if I remember my timing right, if you really want to punish someone, then you go 1 max in energy and you send out your Jeffies, and then they'll be getting there right about the time that they're working on their lab. And that's almost just not enough time to do much, which is why a lot of times people feel safe walking the 3 metal extractors. Because if you come in and you take that risk and send those Jeffies down, if you don't nail all these mexes, then you're starting out behind. So a lot of people think, okay, it's safer. I'll just walk all the mexes, get my cons out, and do the normal expansion. And then that's what everyone seems to have done here.
well, and it's sort of like that game I casted of yours on Gods of War 2, where I said, the best way to think about it is that, NTA, you want to be as greedy as possible and not die. So the not dying part is very important, right?
Yep.
And being greedy is very important, especially on water maps where you're doing the
Well, when
you
you're
know,
ecoing like that on Gods of War 2, and this applies, this is just a general principle for total annihilation, is your resource growth is not linear, it's exponential.
right.
So if you start out with 1 con versus 2 cons, you're not going to end up with double the amount of stuff. You're going to end up with more than double the amount of stuff versus 1 versus 2 cons. So that's something you got to keep in mind, because the cons are not only just going to build more stuff, more resources, but they're simply just going to be helping you expand your economy. They're going to be build power applied to your factories when you use them to guard. So there's a lot of things that you can do. So the longer you can just build cons and your enemy lets you get away with it, and you can expand, the better. So that's why people seem to be so greedy in Gods of War, to the point where it's like, oh, they didn't go air, then I'm not even going to build any missile towers. So I can take that 70, that 80 metal for that missile tower and invest it in a solar that is 1/3 of a metal, because that actually comes back to help you out later in the game. It's a tiny bit of advantage. Um,
Yeah, and interestingly, this game, neither player really, I mean, neither team really being aggressive at all. Meal Solutions has sent down a single weasel, but that's not committing really anything to an attack like you would. Blue has two, so
yeah,
blue at the top left with a single Jeffy getting some harassment done, and he does kill this Mex here.
yep.
Um,
Gets a
but
mix, and he clears out. Now this is tough. It's tough to chase Jeffies with flash, but it looks like
right.
Tristan's going to be able to box him in here. He does. Nice little intercept angle. He gets it taken care of. And the
So is this a
Weasel,
normal map like this where both teams are just being as greedy as possible, just producing the bare minimum of units, and then once they get to a certain point, then they start pumping out, say, instigators. Meal Solution seems to be pumping at that phase.
yeah.
Um,
I'm
is
not
that
a
normal?
I'm not a green ace expert, so I
Okay.
couldn't tell you I couldn't tell you what you're supposed to do here. Um, so a lot of maps, particularly in OTA, a lot of people get figured out to the point where like for example, original Gods of War, it's like, okay, you can go the 3 con strat or the 4 con strat, like that kind of thing. or Painted Desert. People had a standard number of cons that they would start out with: 4 construction vehicles, 5 construction vehicles, usually I think 6 in PD, 5 or 6, for their rock reclaiming. So, and then it's similar to the philosophy on the water map that we were just talking about, where if you spend time to build a cons, then you're not building units, and you can fall behind in the unit count. So, Mealsolutions here, he is sending in Gators, a little too far spaced apart here, and Knob is just absolutely ready with radar and Samson's here.
Well, let me ask you, in Pro-TA, so in OTA, the Samson spam was relatively common. It depended on the map, obviously, but it was a very common strat to just see players building tons of missile trucks, and you don't see it as much in Pro-TA. So when is it, when is it the optimal strategy to just pump out tons of missile trucks? A map like this is pretty open, obviously. What do you think?
That's going to be something that, yeah, it's map and player dependent. If you're really good at radar targeting and staying on top of things, then slashers are going to be your go-to unit for that kind of thing. Mealsolutions with a bit of a missed opportunity. On the right here, that Gator just sitting there, he had a time to run it down and do a little more damage. This is actually an excellent map, in my opinion, for missile spam, just because it's really easy to get your radar coverage up, and then you can just radar target these raids as they come in. Nice job by Meal managing to pick up a mech here. I thought he wasn't going to get much with that, but he does. He makes the best of it. Little double by Jorne here, cutting across Meal, and this could be definitely scary if he's got a pair of cons, Meal running away on the top right.
Yeah, Meal sort of in a bad position. There's 3 cons here, and if Blue finds them, he could do some pretty serious economic damage here.
That's a big ouch.
That is a terrible situation. I've said it in a lot of my casts, like losing cons early on is so devastating for the reasons you already said, that like your economy grows exponentially. So every con you lose not only hurts your ability to expand and grow,
it's your future growth.
But you have to rebuild them. You have to rebuild them, and that takes so much time. So it hurts a lot as a player. It's sort of like a pain in the chest when you start losing cons like this. If he loses 3 of them, that's just devastating for Mealsolutions.
It looks like it's going to happen right here again. That's a 3rd con that goes down. Oh, that's absolutely tragic for Team Team Pinky in the Brain. Knob doing some nice steady expansion here, moving forward. We can take a look at the resources here. Meal's at about 20. Knob is 30. Tristan around 30, and Jorne is sitting around in the 20s. So things actually relatively even after that.
That's surprising. It's surprising that it's so even.
That's even in the production category, but the build power, Jorne has lost 0 construction units, although he's building defenses with these 2 right here. And part of it is he kind of wants to control this gap around the hill. If he can really cover that with missile towers like he has. The other thing you can see Jorne is doing is, it was nice about that raid that he did, is he went in and he grabbed 2 cons, and he only lost a handful of flashes for it. And now he's once again driving Mealsolutions instigators back. Tristan trying to come in to give a hand. And this is a powerful double here. Tristan's intercept angle is a little bit, not shallow, a little too deep there from this perspective. There you go, he manages to bottle him up. TAR, family friendly, swinging around to the left here to take on Tristan's flashes as they come in. We take a look at the factories. You can see Tristan is on 2, Meal is on 2. Mr. Family Friendly is on 1, but he's got his advanced up, and 2 from Jorne, who appears to be locking his commander in place. He is. He's got his commander trapped. I don't like doing that on this map. You get scouted, you're done.
Well, it looks like he's let himself out.
Oh, did he? Oh, he did.
Yeah.
He just let himself out. Okay.
So I was going to ask, because White has gone into, he's rushed T2. I don't know if I'd call this rushing it, but he went there sooner than anyone else.
Oh yeah, this is a T2 rush.
He's spamming out Panthers. Now, what do you think about this? Are Panthers the go-to unit for arm when you go T2 vehicles? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
is that
When
the
you first start, it's Panthers for arm and levelers for core. Their speed, mobility. Panthers are great too because they have the missile, so you can kind of use them similar to your Samsons. Although you want to engage that lightning gun, you paid for it, so you might as well have it in there. So we got Breezy Cast in the chat. Hello, Mr. Breezy. We have some very
Breezy Cast. Oh, so is he watching this? Is
yeah,
Breezy watching
he's
this
watching
live?
this live now. Yep. So
All
we have
right.
some family-friendly Panthers right up here in the middle of the
Yeah.
map. That's some nice metal. You can see this wreck field. So it's good for Knob to try and control it. I don't know if I would want to reveal that I'm T2 at this point, but that's kind of what he's doing with just those 4 Panthers. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess he did reveal it. He didn't try to do anything overly covert with all these Panthers, and he certainly could have.
he's winning the wreck field with it, though. So you know what? I gotta say that's probably the right move.
Yeah, and I think if I were the Northern team, I would just kind of be pooping my pants right now because it's a horrible feeling when you realize that your opponent is now on T2 and hasn't just reached T2, but has probably been on T2 for a while to have this many Panthers on the field.
So you know they're building mechs, the advanced mechs too. Although you can see it doesn't look like Knob actually put out any advanced construction units. So
yeah, he's just gone pure
just
aggression
to the
here.
units. So
Yeah.
I like the aggression. They're trying to end the game. But good job by Meal here to trap those Panthers in there. I don't know if they're going to be able to. He manages to get a couple out, and that kind of wins the wreck field, I think, for the North team. No, okay, it's still contested.
So how much of a factor is veterancy going to play here? Because these Panthers are going to start racking up veterancy.
Not too much for Panthers. Their accuracy is already really solid. Yeah, so it's kind of fun because you're like, my Panther is shredding. Meal definitely in trouble. He's trying to throw down some advanced. Whoa, what was that?
It looked like White accidentally self-destructed all of his Panthers.
It looks like he accidentally self-destructed them.
Yeah, and I was about to say that this game looks very difficult to win now for the Northern team, but after he just self-destructed all of his Panthers, the game
was like 2,000 metal worth of Panthers that just disappeared. That
was a huge mistake.
Yeah, that's basically his advantage. Obviously, he still got advanced, but he didn't build the cons, so... My goodness.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You know, I was playing a game with Nick the other day, and he accidentally it was actually in our tournament game against in our bracket stage. Nick accidentally self-destructed his peewees. So, and he thought, like, oh my gosh, that's going to cost us the game. I like the Stumpies from Jorne here. Again, really not focusing too much on the T2 resources. They got their geos up. That's good. Meal, on the other hand, he's got his geo up too. Tristan, he's got geos. Excellent job. And Tristan's got his advance going too. So,
if you're in this situation as the Northern team, clearly they're behind, but not in an insurmountable position. They could still win. What would you do if you were Tristan or Mealsolutions?
Kind of what they've done. You can see Meal, he's got his T2 up, and at this point, I'd be trying to sneak some construction units out and be working on the economy. And one of the things that I like to do, a lot of players don't, is I'll try and store up some units to make a push to take a wreck field or something like that, and then use the wrecks to get advanced or that kind of thing. You can see all the players, they have construction units up here, right up here in the fray.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, it's not uncommon to have a factory that's whole job is just to build construction units. I do that, and that's how I end up with a gazillion idle cons. You can see Tristan really kind of solidifying his position using these heavy laser towers. And that's going to protect him, and now that he's got advanced, it's like, okay, now I have options. I can figure out how to snipe a comm, get some units out, maybe roll them if they get too greedy as far as building resources. You can see we've got advanced construction units out now, I think, for Mr. Family Friendly.
Yeah, so it's interesting that in a game like this, 15 minutes, nobody's gone air at all. I haven't seen any air facilities Oh,
Yeah, I want to say that's kind of typical for this.
is it?
Well, there's some players who really like to go air earlier. I like to, especially for reclaiming wrecks. Sometimes you just don't think about it. You can see if you look at the back of the base, Tristan just now is kind of putting up his back base air defense, and Meal doesn't have much. And that's because you're not really thinking about it. So bomber right now would be really devastating. But the thing is with bombers and the length of this map is it takes a long time for them to traverse the length of the map. And so you spend a lot of real time microing those bombers when you might actually want to be building instead. And using your micro time to reclaim, which is exactly what's going on. Each one of these Panther wrecks is worth 234 metal. So good on Tristan there for taking advantage of that. You can see they're trying to keep the fight more on their side of the map so that they can take this wreck field. It looks like they have. That's a massive amount of metal. Meal pulling back. I like that. Don't commit any more forces than you have to. Just secure the wreck field.
So how do levelers fare against Panthers? Generally,
I actually don't know off the top of my head. You can see, well, obviously levelers you need to close the distance.
Yeah.
Levelers absolutely crush stumpies. They're great at it. But against Panthers, the fact that they have those missiles, you got to get in close to them, and then the levelers will win the fight. I think is how it generally works out. So, massing units, and this is one thing: is if you're playing kind of a counterattack strategy, that's what you want to do. Is you want to slowly build up your units while they attack in until you have enough to push for a counterattack. Knob goes in and finds the reclaiming con. You can see, just looking at the mega map here, the South team really pushing far forward. Resources, Tristan, though, is actually holding his own on the resources there against Jorne. And Mr. Family Friendly appears to have not evened out, but he's not really keeping up, despite that early advance. Again, that was the thing about not putting a early con out.
Yeah, so again, finally it looks like White building an aircraft plant. It might be the first aircraft plant we've seen in this whole game.
Yep.
Unless I'm mistaken.
Knob's going air. Good job by Meal here to pick up that reclaiming con, but he's got to worry about this batch of stumpies. This will take care of it though. So this is just going to be a nice little metal donation for the North team. Jorne's tanks are going to be driven out. Jorne realizes it. He pulls back.
So what's the role of the Reaper as compared to the Leveler for core?
Reaper is kind of your main battle tank. The Leveler is going to be a bit more raiding, more territory control, that kind of thing. And the Reaper is just great at crushing units, and it's got a ton of armor. So overall good unit. The Goliath is very useful, especially once the wrecks get busy, because it can shoot over wrecks easily. And has excellent range. Just seeing here, yep, Mr. Family Friendly has a lot of family-friendly resources now. He's got 2 mohos up, but you can see Meal is doing a great job. This is the first moho right here, the one that Meal is currently idling on. That's the one you want. Need that sweet double max.
Right. Yeah, that will help a lot for sure. And how do Reapers fare against the Panthers? Is it pretty even?
Reapers will body the Panthers.
Okay.
You know, metal for metal, the Panthers are going to win just because of mobility, and you can kite. But in general, you get a nice big group of Reapers. The Panthers have to get out of their way.
Is the range pretty similar for the Panther, like lightning gun,
with the exception of the missiles?
Okay. Yeah, we can see that White attempting to surround these Reapers. He probably does want to do that.
Yep.
Like you said, the Reapers will be pretty strong in a
he takes him down.
Engagement.
Now the thing is, he's doing a good job of preventing like a full-size Reaper ball from coming down. But Knob's he hasn't switched into Bulldogs or anything that would really help him drive any further. But if it were me and I'm on the South team at this point, I'm like, okay, well, the game's locked up. So let's figure out a way to end it. So you're going to be looking to your air, which is what he's doing. Big Bertha bombers. You can see lots of, and then here you go. You can see what Jorne is doing. He's going artillery. these Lugers, which I think I like them. I don't see them very often, but I like to get a nice big ball of them and then radar target. Especially if you get a targeting facility up, they are really difficult to control.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that the inclusion of the mega map into TA really helps radar targeting.
Yep.
So before you just have to use the tiny mini map, and it's even smaller now that we have higher resolutions, and so the mini map, you can just kind of look at the screen as like almost unclickable. But
yeah,
with the inclusion,
I was a master of radar targeting when I was back in my OTA days, and this was pre mega map, and I would just grab my ball of slashers. I had several strategies just built around getting a fast slasher ball and overrunning people, and it was all because I was pretty good at clicking on the tiny little tiny little mini map.
Yeah, can you imagine just trying to click on this mini map? Of course, back then, your resolution was probably smaller.
It was a little smaller than this, yeah. So.
Yeah. But the mega map definitely helps with that, and like you said, these Lugers are not a bad choice. They're fairly accurate. I mean, they're not perfectly accurate, but against these clumps of flashes and panthers, over time they can definitely inflict some damage. And then more importantly, once they get to the sentinels, they can destroy those dragon's teeth, I think, pretty quickly.
They'll shoot over the dragon's teeth.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll destroy the sentinels relatively easily. So you can see the North team, they've got a pretty solid defense set up, although Meal, he's missing these mexes out here to the right. This is, again, radar, realizing where the gaps are. Getting a few long-range units yourself. Still building gators. I would like to see a few slashers just to try and control things, but I'm a slasher guy at heart. I love slashers. I thrived on them for years. Tristan has gone advanced K-bot as well. He's pushing out some Zeus, some Z's.
Yeah, some Z's, yeah. Yeah, and Mealsolutions retreating here.
I think that's
I
probably
don't know if that was the right
okay.
call.
He doesn't want to make a metal donation, but he does need to. I think he does want to secure this position out to the right.
Right.
Which he is doing. So he's like, okay, I've got that territory.
But Blue continuing to rain down with these Lugers onto Tristan's army and base, now hitting a sentinel, and you can see how quickly this thing is dying. It's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost killed it. He backed
he's
off.
He's pulling back because Tristan is pushing him back. That's one thing you have to watch out with your Lugers, is they're very fragile. So excellent, nice little unit control by Jorne here. Gets the Lugers out of the way, no traffic jam, swings his tanks in to cover. Very well done.
Yeah, and of course those Lugers can always come back and live to fight another day. You don't want to lose them.
So I said long-range units, and here you see him. Look to the right. You'll see Mealsolutions. He's got some diplomats firing some missiles. He wants to try and control this territory here.
Yeah, so really well done by Mealsolutions. He's definitely holding his own.
Yeah, from dropping those 3 cons early, he's made a nice recovery. So.
Yeah, he's got a pretty scary looking army, and of course, Knob now starting to build bombers, and we'll have to see what he wants to do with those bombers, or if he can get something accomplished. But
Tristan's actually shot way ahead in the resources at this point. He's at 58,000 to Meal's 43, and Jorne's at 43. So excellent job on the building here with Tristan. He got all his advanced metal extractors capped, whereas you can see Jorne is just behind. He does not have that going. So wonderful job by Tristan.
Tristan doing what he can to try to push off these Lugers and keep them in the backfield. But it seems like he's slowly losing this fight.
Yeah, Jorne's kind of got critical mass of those Lugers at this point.
Yeah.
And he's dropping towers, and despite the fact that he's got the economic advantage, he's in trouble.
But he does have quite a few sentinels. He's got, several layers. So this is a very, very well-designed defense by our yellow player. It's going to take a little bit for Blue to break through that.
Hey, we got a nice little flank coming over here. If Mealsolutions can get in here and pop this artillery, that will ease the pressure. It looks like he's going to pull it. Jorne sees it and pulls back. And you can see Knob, Mr. Family Friendly, has acknowledged it as well. Nice job by Jorne just to keep those guns firing. This is all radar target by him. I don't think he's got an art up yet. He just
yeah, so I'd like to see Teal using this army of Reapers on the right to just push down. Maybe he doesn't know, but
yeah,
you know, just while White's distracted,
he's got enough to
yeah, he has
to
enough
drive
for sure.
But you can see Mr. Family Friendly has some very family friendly hawks.
Oh, okay, so we've reached that stage of the game. All right, so we're at the hawk stage, which is definitely an important kind of benchmark or a.
It's a little early, and you can see he's only got about 5 or 6 of them. So,
yeah.
And if he reveals, this is the other thing. There's a theory of thought that you want everything that you got in the fight being used. Otherwise, essentially, it's in storage and it's being wasted. So you don't want it in storage. So, but you also got to realize that information is ammunition, and not letting your opponent know that you're hawks is a good thing. Mealsolutions on the top right. This is kind of all these cons that are not building his advanced mohos, and he's got that nice plus 2.3 on the top right that needs a moho on top of it as soon as he can.
And like we said before, Mealsolutions finally taking this moment to push down the right side, but those hawks will make him think twice about it.
He doesn't want to make a giant metal donation to Knob. And this is the interesting thing here is that if these guys hold off because of the fact that they just boosted their economy on the north faster than they did on the south, especially Tristan. Tristan's going beast mode with the building. He's already got first fusion up. If they can survive the onslaught here, they have a pretty good shot at turning this around.
Yeah, it's interesting that Tristan even built an anti-nuke. I mean, is that a significant concern at this point in the game?
That's possible, yeah. This is the other thing is if I'm them, I'm thinking, and this would just be me, I'd be looking at my resources being like, oh, they have more of the map, they've got to be way ahead of me. And so I'd be thinking about, like, if I can build an anti, and I've got all those resources, and then they can have a nuke up.
But yeah, finally, Blue seeming to break through this this impenetrable wall of defenses is finally making a dent.
Yep.
You know, killing these Sentinels. These Lugers have just been MVP this game. Super effective, I think. Despite you said they don't get used as much, but
they don't, and because I think they do take a decent amount of time to control. And Jordan's just doing a good job. But the fact that he's spending so much time controlling them is why he's a little bit behind on the resource battle here with Tristan.
Yeah.
Although it looks like he may have recently caught up. Did he get himself a fusion going? Yeah, he's showing it. Yeah, so Knob's got a family-friendly fusion and all of his stuff caps. So it looks like the south side has retaken the lead as far as the actual production goes. Mealsolution languishing. This is another thing. You can see he built this moho before he built that one in the top right. Build your 2.5s before you build your your 2.3s before you build over the 1.7s.
Yeah. So again, these Lugers just looking terrifying.
Yep. This is
it's sort of. Go ahead.
Quite the army that Jorne has that's pushing up.
Yeah, it feels like it's reached critical mass. Of course, he's lost most of his front line, so he's going to need to build something. Maybe get some Bulldogs up there to tank, or even just more Stumpies. You know, he doesn't want to lose these. They've already been so effective this game, and Tristan doing his best to try and kill these, you know, prevent these Lugers from just devastating his base even more. But it's difficult because, like I said, it feels like Blue has sort of reached a critical mass of them.
Yeah, you can see a lot of his units just kind of get shredded before they can get in there.
Yeah.
Second fusion up for Tristan at this point, though. I think he's definitely accessing that he needs to get some Moho Metal Makers up. Yeah, he's working on them, but he doesn't have any up. So he needs to... Probably should have had one up already, considering he had a first fusion. After that first fusion, yeah, he needed to have one up.
Yeah. Before. And Tristan doesn't really have much, you know... At this point in the game, I don't think spamming out Panthers is really ideal.
Panthers can chase down the Lugers, but he needs to kind of save up some.
Yeah.
So that way, because you can see what's happening is as they try to get in, they just get popped. So you need a big enough group of them that they can come in from a couple different angles. Mealsolutions,
Yeah.
though, here we go. The big tank push is on. He's got a gigantic Reaper Ball and a whole bunch of Raiders as well. And I don't know if Knob has enough Hawks to, you know, eventually the Hawks will wear it down. I love what he's doing with these missiles, just using the diplomats, you know, as artillery.
Right. Well, but again, this push on the left is looking just terrifying because not only do we have all these Lugers, but there's Hawk support as well.
Yep.
So it's a very nice teamwork by our southern team.
A nice job by Meal, though, to see the weakness. He's able to drive his Raiders into the midst of the Lugers. That's exactly what he wants. And this might actually be the saving move for Tristan at this point. Knob, though, this is the correct move. He recognizes, okay, my opponent has gone and pushed in on my allies, so now that means he's weak for me to move in. But again, Knob now recognizing, oh, Tristan still has those defenses. There's those laser towers there. He probably can't break in. So we'll see if he recognizes that.
Yeah, and you know, Blue has retreated.
Yep.
But he's lost quite a few of his original army of Lugers.
Yeah, that was a nice, well-timed move from Mealsolutions there to really bail Tristan out, especially since Tristan's big on the resources.
Well, what I would like to see from Mealsolutions is just including a flacker or two in this army, just a little bit of air defense to push off those Hawks.
It's true. He's had enough time to know that that the Hawks are out there. Also, not very much air defense in the back of his base at all, considering the fact that the Dirty Birds are live. And that is a significant amount of Dirty Birds now.
Yeah, it's a scary situation to be in. Certainly, just having a flak or two in your base and a flak or two, a mobile flak or two in your army, can make a world of difference against these Hawk swarms. Especially because I think at Protea, you know, the flaks have been buffed.
The flaks are definitely good. They were good in OTA against Hawks. Still not as good as they are in Protea.
Yeah, Protea flak is very, very strong. It's a good counter to Hawks, and that's good, right? Because Hawks were pretty game warping sometimes in OTA, so it's nice that there is a counter. Yeah. You know, there's something you can build to kind of keep them.
The nice thing about Hawks in OTA is that you got to that stage and the game was going to end.
Yeah.
So you didn't end up with games that lasted forever. So Protea does, because it buffed some of the units that are anti-Hawk, it kind of makes games go on maybe a little longer.
Yeah,
but I'm okay with it. I think it's been an overall a good change. Oh, so, that shot right there. Did you just see it? That is a Big Bertha from a very, very family-friendly Big Bertha from Mr. Family-Friendly himself.
Yeah, so I was going to mention that. So this Big Bertha, it seems like it hasn't been up too long. It only has a couple kills so far, but this is definitely going to put a northern team on a clock, I think.
Absolutely.
How much of this...
Once that Bertha gets some veterancy, it can start pegging those fusions. And I don't know if they realize it at this point. Tristan, though, blowing up now with resources. He's working on his 4th fusion. And Mr. Family Friendly has only got 2. Jorne, I don't see any from him. Oh, no, okay, he's working on his 1st. So
it's interesting that Tristan has all this, so many resources here. Looks like he's.
It looks like Knob has leapfrogged Tristan in resource totals at this point. Meal and Jorne are even on resource basically, and then Knob has gone about 10k above Tristan. So
yes. So oh, nice Bertha shot there, but. So what I was going to say is it's interesting that Tristan has all these resources, but I don't feel like he's using them extremely effectively. Still just pumping out Panthers, now putting up more factories to try to spend his cash. But it's tough, you know, because he is still pumping out Panthers and
Zeus.
Was
just scouted. I don't know if we'll see if that Bertha ends up targeting the commander.
Okay, yes. Yeah, you're right, and he goes invisible immediately, so he knows.
Nicely done there, Tristan, yep.
Yeah, he knows that he was scouted, and he will.
The team here, the team TFA, really kind of trying to push this hole that they created through the laser tower defense.
So some bombers were just off-mapped. Yep. So blue just off-mapped some bombers at the top left.
Oh,
so
this is going to be very painful if he gets these. And he does. Oh, nice. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That is a lot of metal. Those things aren't very expensive, so it'll be very easy for Tristan to rebuild them. But for the duration, that was very worth it by Jorne to take out that many Moho Metal Makers. You can see Mealsolutions now cranking out a flacker on the front line, but they need to find that Bertha and bomb it. Now there are 2 of the big guns up, and we have some frontline cloakable fusions from Mr. Family Friendly, as he is interested in. Just at that point, he's just building. I've done stuff like that before too, where it's just like build. I don't care where this goes, just build. He has got 2 factories up. He's working on advanced bombers too. Things are looking very bleak for Team Pinky and the Brain in the north.
Yeah, certainly, and this this Southern Bertha, the original one, now with 9 kills. So as it picks up more kills, it will become more accurate, and as it becomes more accurate, it will start one-shotting its targets, and then things become very dire for our northern team. And the northern team has played really well. I don't want to take anything away from them. Certainly, they've held on like absolute champions, but the issue is I don't really see an end game right now. I don't see any strategy that the northern team is putting together to try to, aside from surviving. But having said that, Mealsolutions is pushing down the east side with a relatively small group.
It's a nice force, but you're going to watch these Hawks come in. They don't have any air cover. It'll take a bit for the Hawks to wear them down, but this is going to end up being a medal donation for Mr. Knob.
Yeah, just a couple of flackers in there would have made a big difference. I mean,
oh yeah.
And if he's going to send that army, why not send everything?
Send it all.
Or send it all.
Especially considering the fact that the big Berthas are shelling you.
Yeah.
And I don't like this move by Meal here, the fact that he's building Vamps instead of Bombers. Bombers are very expensive, T2 Bombers. But it's not hard to get a lot of, use your advanced K-Bot, get a lot of build power around a T1 lab, and hose out a ton of shadows, and then just go looking for those Berthas. You can see one more family-friendly big gun right in the middle of the map.
Yeah, he just finished it, so that's pretty nasty.
I'm at 37 minutes, and it's not done yet to me, but...
Okay, so yeah, let me pause. I think I'm a little ahead of you. I'm at 37:30, so just
I'm at 37:35.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it finished for you?
No,
oh no, I'm looking at another one.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
okay.
he's got 4.
So
he's got 2, and he's working on a third one a little. Yeah, so he's like Bertha creeping, right? He's Bertha creeping north.
He is, and he's got the resources to back it up. That's the thing, is Berthas are very expensive guns. I don't see a Bertha or anything like that from the northern team here. And this is going to be too much artillery fire, even if they had bombers at this point. They're not going to be able to stop it.
And in Protea, Berthas are game enders. Berthas are designed to kind of break or end stalemates. So this is the sort of situation where building a lot of Berthas does really benefit your team, and especially because, as we said, he's creeping forward with them. So each new Bertha he builds gets a little bit closer to Yellow's base.
I think he's got range over the entire base at this point. In comes a nice old airstrike at this point. I can see the bombers flying up, Hawks are flying in. He's trying to stop Mealsolutions
Phoenix.
And he's trying to stop Mealsolutions from coming over and destroying Jorne's artillery. Again, Tristan, tons of fusions, but that resource isn't going to anything. I don't even see the Moho Metal Makers Jorne bombing his Moho Metal Makers was pretty brutal.
Yeah, and there's so many Phoenix here. I mean, this is like a critical mass of Phoenixes, and at this point,
oh, he's going.
His oyster.
He found his comm, but they just missed it. He bombs out more of his Moho Metal Makers. They find the fusions, bomb the Geo. At this point, they broke the line. Yeah, This is time where we got to do something desperate from the north side. I don't see a win coming for them. Well, obviously, they could pull off a sneaky combo. Let's see if they actually go for that.
It would be a difficult situation to do that in. So yeah, again, I think in Pro TA a lot of the times the writing is on the wall, just because the way the game plays out. You can sort of see which team is has an in-game strategy and is executing their strategy better and has better teamwork. And certainly the Southern team, even though it's been a close game, and like as you said, even the Northern team has had economic advantages at certain points, but they just haven't been using their resources as effectively. And it's just, I think the Southern team has just slowly sort of put them in a chokehold and is now choking them out. So
yeah, I'm surprised with all those fusions marked that Mr. Family Friendly hasn't unfamily friendlied those fusions.
Yeah, with the Berthas for sure. How many Berthas are we on now? We're working on
we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guns working on a 6th.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. He's also got a stunner. I don't know how much that's going to matter in
he
this
could
game.
actually, he's got enough Hawks now to fly into the back and end it. I don't know if he realizes it.
Yeah, but this is a very terrible situation to be in if you're on the North team. You just slowly are dying to long-range plasma cannons, but there isn't much counterplay
Finally,
anymore.
yeah, he switched to bombers. This is at this point you're looking for a commander, you're looking for a snipe. Which means if you're on the South team, what you're doing is your commander is cloaked, and Mr. Family Friendly's commander is not cloaked. So he's out there. It's possible that they can nab him.
Yeah.
Mealsolutions got a nice little vamp storm up, too little, too late. I think the bombers would have served him much better.
No, I think you're right, and it's interesting to me because there was a timing that Teal could have pushed down White's base if he just had some flackers and done serious economic damage just with his army of Reapers
a massive
and
amount
Raiders.
of Reapers that could have opened the game up, but it's just a little too defensive, I think.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard to tell when to attack because you're like, that ball of Reapers. If you fail, that is a massive metal donation.
Yeah.
Here come the bombers from Mealsolutions. I don't believe he's found the commander, so at this point he would just be bombing. He would just be bombing fusions and Big Berthas. So here he goes. He's taking a nice angle here. Gets one. Oh no! It's just a sliver away. That's tragic.
Yeah, he doesn't even get a single Bertha. It lives with a just a smidgen of health, but again, even if he killed that, it wouldn't make a huge difference because he's got so many Berthas and still building
Here
even
comes
more
this.
Berthas.
This run's going for the fusions.
Yeah, for sure, and that will certainly cripple.
He didn't quite do it right there. He managed to get. It's really tough when you got a screen of bombers like that. That's far spread out. To actually appropriately line bomb that. He did get pick up 2.
Yeah, he got 2.
Tristan trying to recover here. I like that he's taking his man back, using land back. Jorne not going as resource heavy as his ally. Big builder Knob here.
Man, and there's so many Bertha shots flying in now that it feels a bit like a chainsaw.
They're just pegging the units. It looks like he's actually trying to shell down. Is he trying to go for the anti? No, it's
looks
just
like
shooting whatever.
Yeah.
It almost looks
so
like
again,
a
buzzsaw. Doesn't it look like a buzzsaw? Yeah.
Jorne's got a big Bertha up in the middle too now. He's getting it in on the long-range plasma cannon action. There we go. Nice little run by Meal. He picks up 2 of the big guns. 2 is not enough. He's coming around for a second run.
Yeah, and like I said, the Berthas are game enders in Pro TA, and they will eventually wear you down until your base there's just not much left, and then the enemy can just walk in and kill you.
You see how Knob missed that? He was going for that moho there, and he just missed it because he was actually coming off of the elevation of the hill. But he does take out a few more mohos in the back. He marks up the fusions. Lots of fusions from the north side, but I think their anti-nuke is down on the north. And we have more family-friendly firepower on the south side here, with Knob having a nuke ready.
Uh-oh.
He realizes the weakness, yeah, that Mealsolutions is relatively soft in the back here with the fusion. So
yeah, it's kind of interesting that it's taken him this long, because it's basically been like this the whole game. He could have done this at any point.
Well, if he had done it too early, you reveal that you have Hawks, and especially if they were ready for it and they had a handful of Hawks themselves, or a Flacker, then you lose your Hawk. You lose all your Hawks, and you end up behind, and then you also lose what you were planning on using to defend your ground forces. So that's one thing you sometimes can do too. If you've got a lot of ground units, you wait till somebody commits their Hawks to something, and they lose a decent number of them, and you start sending your ground forces in to try and overrun them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because the Hawks are a big investment. If your opponent is investing into Hawks, you have to assume that maybe they're going light on ground forces. So
we have a Valkyrie produced from Mr. Mealsolutions. I believe he is going to attempt the coup de grace.
Yeah, well, I guess when things get desperate and it's your only move left, what do you have to lose?
I gotta say, I'm thinking it's going to happen at least once in this tournament, and I'm waiting for it to happen. I just don't want it to be against me. That's all.
It's going to be difficult though, because the southern team is
yeah,
their air defense has been pretty impeccable. I think
his commander is hidden now at this point. I think. There we go. Knob's coming in too. Nice little run here. It takes out all the fusions. Beautiful run by Mr. Family Friendly. Mealsolutions going in. Oh, there's a Flacker right there that's chewing up. He tags one of those Big Berthas. Sprays bombs all over the place. Oh, we just missed it. Mealsolutions is down. He must have gotten hit. I feel bad that I missed it. Here, let's find out where
he probably off-mapped his commander.
Oh, he did. Okay. That was what's
yeah,
going on.
And he just died.
So he got killed.
Yeah.
So there you go. He tries to go for the ride of the Valkyrie, and it looks like Tristan's doing much the same. His commander's up here in the north, getting ready. He's got it cloaked right now because why not? He's got plenty of energy. And there he goes. But unfortunately, his Hawks are coming in. Nice fusion building by Tristan, but fusions, you need to turn them into something that'll help. A defensive Bertha would have most certainly helped. All right, Tristan's commander is in flight here.
Yeah, it's flying a little bit west. I don't know if he's trying to off-map it or what the plan is.
Yep. Oh, he mistimed the off-map. So you can see, okay, there he goes. I think you got it. So what you got to do if you're trying to off-map your commander, before it reaches the corner, you have to click move to the south, and then it carries its momentum off the edge. So there we go. You can see Tristan. There you go. His commander is now moving down the left side, flying in. Let's see what he finds. Unfortunately, yeah, he's not quite far enough off map here. He's going to come out early.
Yeah, and again, the southern team has defended themselves well with air defense, so I don't think this is going to work too efficiently.
There's a few gaps, but don't know if they're good enough. Here he comes. Yeah, he's going to... he could drop his commander. He could set his commander down, and he could come in there and degun a few fusions. He's going to find these missile towers here, and that's going to be the end of it. Well played. Well played by both teams. Oh yeah, the nuke goes off right as the game ends too. Congratulations to Team TFA, picks up the win, 2 points in their group, and we move on to the final game of the final game of this set, a Group B set. So I liked, obviously Team TFA had the advantage here, but Team Pinky and the Brain definitely there were some opportunities that they could have capitalized on.
Definitely. I don't think the game at any point was unwinnable. Oh, well, I won't say at any point, but for a large portion of the game, the Northern team definitely could have won. Certainly, if Mealsolutions had taken his big ball of tanks and moved them south, just added a couple flackers in the mix, he might have gotten something accomplished. But ultimately, just playing very defensively.
Well, really,
there,
yeah. I don't think probably the one thing about this game that if Team TFA probably didn't feel any kind of pressure, and that's the one thing is you want them to feel the like, oh, here comes some stuff that could do some serious damage to us. So even though Tristan was keeping pace with the resources, he didn't really have anything that was making the other team have to think twice and really change their plan. And really what sprang Mr. Family Friendly so far ahead of Mealsolutions 2 was that nice play by Jorne to swing across and eat up those 3 cons. That's just absolutely devastating. You can see how that, Meal was planning on snowballing his resources like Tristan did, and you can see how far behind he ended up being resource-wise simply